I'm telling you, Sproingy is definitely a word.
It's not a word. Oh, we're doing another podcast. And you've brought the word with you.
I have.
Dear God.
This is the podcast part 2. Sproingy. Yeah, it's definitely a word.
Is it? What is it? Like spongy crossed with springy?
Have you never heard Sproingy before?
Never.
I'm going to Google it.
I guarantee you it's not a real word. It may be on some made-up slang bollocks, but it doesn't exist as a real word.
Adjective. Sproingy.
No, not adjective. That's like shooting. Adjective.
That's what I said.
You just said adjective, as in like you're shooting you out of a car.
I've got a cold. All right. Jesus.
Okay, fair enough. It's not an English word though. Sproingy.
Look, it's on Wiktionary and everything.
Yeah, Wiktionary's not an actual dictionary though. That counts slang words. And...
Just like bloody Wikipedia's a real encyclopedia.
Yeah, of course it is.
You should definitely use it for your thesis.
Yeah, because everything's going to be right.
That's
like
a really good idea. Just cut and paste, man.
George Bush was in a heavy metal band.
Was he?
According to Wikipedia.
God, I love Wikipedia.
Yeah, I love the fact that people just change shit for the hell of it.
Yeah, just to really fuck with people as well. It's evil. Oh, first swear word of the evening. Anyway. No, it's not. First swear word of the podcast. There we go.
We haven't got a Ross, but he's here in spirit.
Right, should we do this?
I think we should.
Review show. Right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Review with the Crew with
Just Us Two.
With Mr. Adam Gattrell.
Hello.
And me, Chris Quinton. Hello, good evening. No listener letters or anything this week?
No, people
it's all a bit quiet, isn't it?
Yeah, people are being quite relaxed.
You're all out there listening. The listener figures are good. But
it's the sunshine. I think everyone's... They're out there listening to it, but they're just listening to it on their devices while laid in the sun.
We're going to try and get a bit more active on our Twitter and Facebook and stuff, and we're going to start using those as podcast content, basically. So try and get involved in some conversations, or if you do feel like writing into us about anything at all, please do. snoothwiththecrew@gmail.com. You can Facebook us, you can write to us on Twitter, you can post a letter into the door of Cow's Library, and Adam will not write back on a Wednesday.
No.
Anywho, right, what you been watching then, Adam?
Oh, well, I missed last week, so I've been watching, playing and listening and doing lots of different things.
Oh, I know one thing you've been watching. Lost in Space.
Yeah. I loved it. I thought it was great.
I enjoyed it as well.
It's less cheesy than the original because of age and the way things are.
Okay, I'm going to cut this in and say, ladies and gentlemen, just in case you haven't seen it, mild spoilers for Lost in Space.
Yeah.
Okay? You've been warned. Warning.
Danger.
Spoilers, Will Robinson. Totally called the last episode. I predicted that like to a T.
Yeah, well, it's basically the whole first series is the setup for how they end up
Lost in Space.
In space.
I like that though. I like the fact that they kind of could have gone two ways. They toyed with you, in my opinion, a little bit. They could have gone with, everybody's lost in space. Look. We're a civilization lost in space.
Yeah.
But then they led up to the...
They could have gone the whole,
Space Family Robinson,
Battlestar Galactica, everyone's lost in space together. It's a bit different from the original. They could have gone the whole... the family are lost in space from the very first moment you meet them.
Yep.
But they chose to go sort of... We're actually kind of explaining it and making it make more sense. Yeah, and I like it. All the characters are good.
Science is good.
Yeah, none of the
special effects
awful.
are good. Yeah,
like
even the child acting is really good.
Yeah, they're all really good.
All
and what's her name? Who was Evil Lynn in the Power Rangers movie is really good as Robinson.
Is that who she was?
Yeah,
Evil Lynn in the Power Rangers movie. Yeah. As Mother Robinson.
No, as
Marjorie Robinson
Smith.
Or Dr. Smith.
Smith.
Dr. So that's
Smith,
Polly somebody. I should know this name.
I can't remember her name. She's been in loads of stuff.
Parker Posey, that's her name.
Yeah.
Yeah, she makes a great bad guy. Girl. Person. Bad person.
Bad guy. That's the thing. The word guy, from its origin, meant is non-gender specific.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because it's a rope.
Yeah.
Because it's a fork.
Probably. I don't know.
There you go, guys.
bit of knowledge for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Lost in Space, loved it.
I recommend it wholeheartedly, actually.
Yeah.
There's only one thing in the special effects that I mentioned this last week that got me, just because I noticed it at some point and then I kept going, they've done it again, is the robot. It looks bloody amazing, and I love the robot, but sometimes it's a big, massive, hulking special effects robot, and other times it's a guy in a suit.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't pick up on that.
Depending on what they need at the time, it's either a practical guy in a suit, which is far smaller sometimes than the big CGI robot.
I thought it was all CGI with the robot.
No.
I didn't realise there was any practical bits. I obviously just got ingrained in the story enough that I missed that. That's amazing.
Yeah, he's a bit wobbly in places. You know, you can see his little bits of plastic wobbling a little bit.
I thought the robot was a bit wobbly in places, but I thought they'd done that on purpose with graphics. I didn't realise it was a...
He's supposed to be made of like really tough steel, you know.
Yeah,
and he's a bit flimsy in places.
That's all right.
But yeah,
first series, isn't it? What else have I been watching? I watched I finished the second series of Unfortunate Events. I mentioned watching it. Last time. Love it. I think it's great.
I really should give it another go. You know, it's because
each series.
It's a while since I tried season 1.
I think each 2 episodes is one of the books. So each series is like 4 books or 5 books.
There's only like 18 books, aren't there?
16 or 18, yeah. So yes, four books a series. So the last series will be the last 4 books.
Right.
Okay. And so
they're going to do the complete run, basically.
I think so. Yeah.
Have they had enough viewers, do you think, this time around?
I think so. Yeah.
It's been quite well marketed. So
it's people seem. Everyone I speak to that's seen it seems to really enjoy it. They've either really enjoyed it or loved it. So I'm definitely up for more of that. I'd like to see the story finished, because it was a shame with the Jim Carrey movie, which was also quite good, that they never did the rest of them, because they were going to do 3 films and they only ever did the 1. So. Yeah, I'm up for more.
Cool.
And then what else have I been watching?
Neil Patrick Harris, I just Googled it actually while you were chatting.
Yeah.
Neil Patrick Harris seems to suggest that there definitely is a 3rd season, and it is definitely ending after season 3.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. With the amount of books there are, it doesn't need to go past series 3. It just needs to get to the end of series 3, and that's the end of the books. So
he says, talking to Digital Spy, that he's proud that is doing something that is actually... I'm proud we're doing something which is actually finite and a piece of art.
Yeah.
He's very good in it, I've got to say, from what I've seen.
He's written kids' books about a group of kids that are part of the Magician's Circle who solve mysteries.
Oh, yeah.
He's a great guy. I've got so much time for Neil Patrick Harris. Like, even though he's done some stuff I don't particularly like, he's also done stuff that I love. Like, he was one of the best parts of Starship Troopers.
I can't even remember him being in it.
He was the mind trooper, the guy that was their mate, who basically communicates with the brain bug.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a long time.
Yeah,
I must have been about 18 when I saw that film.
He hasn't aged a day.
No, it's true. He still looks like Dougie Hauser, to be fair.
Yeah. Watched that. I'm trying to think. I've watched quite a few little things here and there.
You saw Jessica Jones season 2, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
You enjoyed it?
I really liked it, yeah.
So I'm about halfway through it.
Right.
And it's a bit slow. But
it's slower than the other Marvel
You know what
series.
it's missing? A really, really good impacting villain.
Yeah. I think that's the thing with this one. It doesn't need a villain.
It's been overshadowed by, what's his face? Who played Purple Man in the first season?
David Tennant.
David Tennant, yeah. He was so bloody good in the first season.
Yeah, the thing is, I think with her character, it's all about her own... It's why the Hulk never works as films, because he is his own bad guy.
Okay.
With her...
Internal struggles, man.
This series is more about the internal struggle and the sort of where she came from than it is about the villain. And I think that's good. I think that works better.
Okay.
And would mean that there isn't a reason for her to involve the other street-level heroes that she's met in Defenders. Because some people are like, why don't people just go and get like Daredevil to help? Well, it's not something she wants to involve them in. and
fair.
it makes sense that she doesn't, so there's no crossover at all with the others. So,
Apparently they're definitely not going to be appearing in the Avengers movies.
no, I'm fine with that. I think they're a separate thing. I like the fact that they mention each other, but I don't think they need to cross over. If they do it eventually one day down the line, fair enough, but I don't think it needs to happen. I think they work perfectly well in their own little universe.
Cool. I'm going to crack on with it, but I'm not watching it religiously. I'm just watching it because the missus didn't like the first episode that we saw.
Right.
And she was like, no, this definitely isn't for me. So I'm just watching it where I can, where I've got a spare hour here and there,
It's worth going. It's worth going through. I think it's on a par with the first series. It's just different.
Right.
It's still got that noir feel to it sometimes.
Yeah.
It's got that inner voice when she's talking to herself and stuff. But yeah, it's different to the first series.
Cool. What else have you been watching, Adam?
The Hitman's Bodyguard?
Yeah, Hitman's Bodyguard. Yeah,
Samuel L. Jackson
Samuel
and
Jackson and Ryan Reynolds. Yeah,
it's good fun.
I enjoyed it as well.
Yeah,
it's not the best film
it's
in the world, but
it's not gonna break any records.
It's two hard-hitting stars, isn't it?
Yeah, and it was great fun. And Selma Hayek in the scene beating up people in the bar in tight jeans. Nothing to complain about there.
But yeah, overall, I think they bounce off of each other very, very well, those two.
Well, it's Nick Fury and Deadpool, isn't
it? Yeah.
Basically.
This is true.
Sort of them playing Nick Fury and Deadpool before they became Nick Fury and Deadpool as well.
Although, no, he was definitely Nick Fury before then, because
it's
quite a recent movie.
Yeah, but what I mean is
as a character.
As a character,
okay.
He's like a bad guy, but a good guy.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And then
so
Ryan
it could be
Reynolds
set in the 50s
is
or
basically
something.
like Deadpool was sort of protecting people and doing things, mercenary things for money.
Yeah.
So, alternative universe, it's the same characters doing the same sort of things.
Memorable opening scene with Ryan Reynolds' character actually in that film, where he's supposed to be protecting somebody getting off a plane. Very, very good.
Literally waving him off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's worth a watch. Did you watch that on Netflix?
I did indeed, yeah. I've watched a few things on Netflix. Some older films as well recently, like The Delivery Man. With Chris... Guardians of the Galaxy. Chris Pratt is lawyer to a... Is it Matthew Vaughn?
Matthew Vaughn, that's the guy from...
Dodgeball and...
Brawling Cell Block H.
Yeah,
no,
basically...
That's Prisoner Cell Block H.
He's basically mates with Chris Pratt, who's a sort of not very good lawyer, and Matthew Vaughn is like a meat delivery man, and he gets comes back to his flat, and there's like a guy there who's like, I work for this company that you donated sperm to 639 times.
I saw this.
And you've got 533 children that want to meet you, and we're going to basically
we almost watched this, actually.
It's actually really good for what it is, because it's more about the legal side and him wanting to know all these kids, but also thinking, like, is it a good idea? And the legal ramifications of the company basically giving in to the 533 kids to give them the details, and about his mate trying to protect him by going to court going, no, they signed a thing to say that he'd be anonymous, so it's down to him if he wants to meet them.
Right.
And yeah, it's all right. It was quite touching in places and quite funny in places.
Okay.
Again, not a groundbreaking film, but an easy watch.
Cool.
What have you been up to? What have you been watching?
Did you enjoy, just out of interest, did you enjoy The Secret Life of Walter Mitty? Or Into the Wild?
The Secret Life of Walter Mitty had 5 moments in there that are...
Actually 5?
That
you actually count?
Yeah. No.
You
You'll
them
understand.
On one hand.
No, you'll understand. There's five moments in that film of things that I relate to.
Right.
There's a song. There's a moment on a skateboard. There's a thing that he does with his imagination.
Jumping out of a helicopter into a boat.
I haven't done that. But
no, you haven't. I'm not surprised. I was going more with kind of tonally, if you like those kind of movies. The Secret Life of Walter Mitty and Into the Wild The one about the guy that decides he's going to leave society and just goes and lives in a bus in the middle of the mountains.
Yeah, and then dies.
Yeah. Really touching film.
True
If you
story.
like... Yeah, it is a true story. If you like either of those films, I reckon Kodachrome is probably the movie for you.
Kodachrome.
Yeah. Now, it's a story about a chap who... He's dying, and he used to be a photographer, or at least he is. A very, very well-known photographer. And he uses Kodachrome film, and it's gotten to the stage where there's only one developing... there's only one place in America where you can go to get Kodachrome developed.
Oh.
So his carer calls up his son and says, right, your dad's dying. He's got to go on this road trip. I think you should go with him. And they've got a really, really bitter relationship. But it's a touching comedy. And it's got a brilliant soundtrack, which has been very carefully put together. It's more the soundtrack that reminds me of Into the Wild. They've cunningly released it at the same time on CD, and digital, of course. But it's brilliant music. Again, some of the stuff in Walter Mitty reminded me of it. You know, really, really well-placed pieces of music with excellent pieces of cinematography. Not as, considering it's a film about a photographer, the cinematography isn't as groundbreaking as you'd expect it to be, especially as it's a road trip across America. You'd expect some massive, brilliant landscape shots and things, but not too much of that. But a brilliant film.
Okay,
definitely. If you like a touching comedy with a very decent soundtrack and some heartfelt family poignance, it's definitely worth a watch. I rate it.
Will it make me cry?
I bloody hope so. If it doesn't make you cry, you're a bloody rock.
Cool. Okay. Well, I cry at most things, so.
All right, Adam, don't cry. Sorry. So that's good.
I'll have a look at that. That sounds interesting.
Other than that, I've really not been watching too much. Other than, I've been listening to Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, the audio book,
nice.
which is quite good.
Nice.
I found a really nice version with a British girl reading it, and it's totally unabridged. You know, it's all 3 volumes. Actually, Frankenstein, after listening to this, I realised that I had absolutely no idea that the story is quite so different to that we see in mainstream.
Yeah, it's like a complete love.
Presentations.
It's like a full love story of.
It's not like using lightning to electrify bolts in a big green monster's neck or anything like that. It's a guy basically writing letters back home after he's been found in the Arctic when he's been pursued or pursuing the monster who's been badgering him to create a bride for him. And he's like this horrific 8-foot tall thing with yellow eyes that, you can see muscles like poking out of holes in his skin and stuff, and he's quite horrific to look at. Man, it's very, very wordy, I've got to say. It's brilliant to fall asleep to. It's actually been knocking me out. Luckily, the chapters aren't too long, so I can find my way back to where I was quite easily. But and then there's 3 volumes of it, so it's quite a lot. But it's everything you'd expect from like a Frankenstein's monster story and Frankenstein's Bride, or Bride of Frankenstein as well. But without all the silly science stuff, really.
From what I read, it's been a long time since I read it, but from what I remember, it's so emotional about and more about how the monster is not a monster compared to other people. In fact, maybe that comes later in the story. If from what I'm thinking, but
the monster's definitely a monster because it's murdered people.
But it's
his fault for making the monster in the first place.
And it understands.
And you can't feel sympathy for him being pursued by this monster and hassled for him to make it a bride for it.
Yeah.
Because, he did it in the first place, the stupid bastard.
Things within it that, there's moments within the story from reading it ages ago where the monster shows more humanity by the end of the story than...
There you go. Well, I'm just starting the 3rd book, so,
cool.
There's no Igor in it at the moment, but perhaps he'll turn up, who knows. And then Bride of Frankenstein, whether or not she'll actually be created, don't know, who knows. I'll let you know another time. But there's a biopic coming about Mary Shelley.
Amazing.
At the time of writing Frankenstein.
Cool.
And it's got Elle Fanning in it, which looks actually very good. We posted a trailer of it last week on our Facebook page.
I'll have to have a look.
Go and have a look. But something I learned quite interestingly, just to finish up, while I was deciding which audiobook to start on next, was that, do you remember the song China in Your Hand by Vapour? Don't look too hard, your dreams are China in your hand.
No.
Don't wish too hard because they may come true. You can't have them. You don't know it?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
Very famous 80s song. For anyone out there that does know that song, it's written and is all about Mary Shelley at the time of writing Frankenstein.
Oh.
There you go. You're welcome.
Random.
If that ever comes up in a pop quiz.
Bit of a weird one.
Yeah, it's a strange thing to write a song about.
Yeah.
But she faced a lot of criticism and a lot of backlash, and they wouldn't allow her to release the book under her name, and it had to originally be released under a pseudonym.
Yeah.
They wanted her to release it in her husband's name, and she refused, and it was just a pain in the arse, which I guess is what the film's going to cover. So,
Well, there's a lot of female writers and scientists back at that time that were having to release papers and books and information under husbands or under male pseudonyms, wasn't there? There was quite a few back then.
especially if it's science or science fiction.
Yeah.
But this is the first piece of science fiction ever written, basically.
Yeah.
So, or credited as. There you go.
Wow.
That's not sort of the stuff that we usually
no,
chat about on this podcast.
But that's the thing.
It's all pop culture, isn't
when
it?
you're reviewing stuff, sometimes these nuggets of information come out of the things that you've watched.
You're a nugget.
You're a nugget.
Anyway, right, so shall we go and have some dinner? I'm quite
I
hungry.
think so.
That'll
yeah.
do us, won't it?
Yeah. It's only the two of us. We can't talk all night.
No. If you'd like to catch anything else that we do outside of the podcast, please go and have a look at our Facebook page or anywhere where you can find some notes or links and stuff below. Adam does poetry and comedy and stuff. I do music and
I do indeed.
an open mic night and
there's a
sell
local
stuff.
There's a local pantomime looking for a pantomime dame at the
is there?
moment. Yeah,
Are you going to go for it?
No,
Bobbin
asked,
Dixon, if you're listening.
They asked me, but I'm not available for when they want it. So if
Okay.
anyone wants to be a pantomime dame and has the skills, please do contact me.
Bobbin would be excellent.
I think Bobbin would be great at it. I don't know if he'd be family friendly enough though.
Does that matter?
It's a pantomime.
Exactly.
There's got to be a level of family friendliness.
Well, yeah, true. Anyway, Libsyn and Stitcher. They could find you a dame.
They could probably find me the right dress
Yeah, true.
to go with the heels.
The Springy Hills.
God,
It's
stop
definitely a word. Spring is a word.
It's not a real
It
word.
is.
It's not.
We're going to put it out on our Twitter tomorrow.
You've not had enough sleep. It's not a real word. Go and sleep
Right,
now.
that's it. We're going. Say goodbye.
Bye.
We're going to spring out of here.
Dickhead.
Everybody uses springy. What are you on about?
It's like when I say trundle, meaning to walk.
Yeah, trundle. That's fine.
Trundle means to walk.
The way it's like rolling on shaky wheels, isn't it? Trundling along.
Yeah, you trundle along. Apparently, a lot of my friends think that means to poo.
What?
And don't like me saying it because to them, they grew up hearing that as being pooing.
How bizarre.
Yep. Weirdos.
What are those springs called that go down the stairs?
Slinky.
Slinkies, they're springy.
No, they're